To Gaurang Shah then. Gaurang, if we talk about the kind of global economic data that we're faced with right now, the US jobs data was pretty disappointing. No great outcomes when it comes from the ECB meet. How much precedence should the Indian markets give to this?
One fact that the euro has gone down to its lowest level against the dollar is a cause of concern, and we're given to understand that later this evening or tomorrow you'll have the Greek finance minister and prime minister give out their say in terms of the state of economy over there. And if you take things into perspective, well, the entire data point gives you an indication that there is going to be more of a concern rather than relief. Also given the fact you have the INR against the dollar at above 56 to a dollar again. Well, the data points do point out that given the kind of negativity, the crude oil prices would come down to a great extent. But in the flip side, if the INR has to weaken against the dollar and go towards and march towards 57 and 57.30 that we've seen in the recent times, equates the kind of impact. So there is going to be concern, and I don't think that you are going to see any positive incremental upside in those markets, which will of course reflect on our market as well.
Gaurang, what are you advising clients? Buy selectively, any other names that you're discussing, or stay light?
No, Neeraj, well, your question was what are the sectors that will impact it? I think definitely FMCG, because input cost will go up. It will have its impact on the other sectors as well, because the per capita expenditure, etc., will come into focus. As of now, purely from a short to medium term, we are telling clients to book out wherever they have profits, purely from a short term point of view. On the downside, I think breach of 50 to 40, 51, 80 will possibly open up doors on the lower side. That's where we'll possibly advise clients to go into sectors like private sector banking, pharma, cement, which have shown signs of a bit of resilience, not that they are completely. And of course, selective metals like Tata Steel or Sterlite, given the kind of correction that they had, I think lower levels they'll look attractive. On the autos, Tata Motors is the preferred pick, and then is M&M. And on the telecom, I think Bharti is the first pick, and then is Idea Cellular. So we got to be very, very stock specific, sector specific, and move forward from here.
And Gaurang, the general consensus is that in terms of earnings, the banking sector can see a bit of resilience given that the credit growth has been reasonably okay on a yearly basis. What are your expectations? You spoke about IndusInd, but for the rest of the sector?
I think purely private sector will do definitely well. Private sector banking, that is, will do definitely well. Then the PSU banks, yes, the loan book growth has been good, but on the PSU banks, there has always been a concern on asset quality and, of course, restructuring. We believe that there could be some amount of disappointment, minus names like Bank of Baroda and Bank of India, which could be a relatively safer bet into the PSU. But to expect the same kind of performance from State Bank of India as they did last time, I think that will be a little bit too much to expect for. So we remain a little bit cautious on PSU banks, but yeah, private sector, in case if there is correction like we expect, we find opportunities to participate in those stocks.
Gaurang, before we let you go, really, any of these agri themes, the seed companies or irrigation companies that you would look to play short, long, otherwise, because of the monsoon picture?
Well, if the monsoon is going to be bad, Neeraj, then I don't think there's going to be any sense into buying into any of these stocks. Yeah, but the stock that you were just discussing with Rajat, Jain Irrigation, I think at lower levels you could possibly look at buying into it. But that again, this is a fundamental call, so you need to have patience to give to the stock.